Hi, my name's Shay Christensen, and this is my project on health hazards and global climate change. So one hazard that comes along with global climate change is the emissions of CO2. It traps the heat inside the atmosphere and causes the Earth's surface temperature to rise. CO2 emissions account for 82% of greenhouse gas emissions, and if it's breathed in, if it's ingested into the human body, it increases your blood acidity, and it can cause asthma and other lung diseases. The second health hazard is changes in particulate matter. Particulate are really, really small particles that may be emitted or created by chemical reactions from the gases. Breathing these in or ingesting them may cause cardiovascular diseases, decreased lung growth in children, and development of chronic lung diseases. So the first peer-reviewed journal that I read was on the UAA library website, and it talked about how global climate change could increase infectious diseases. This article focuses on the main health hazards in children that come with global warming. The article explains that since children are underdeveloped, they're more prone to getting an infectious disease. They also explain that with an increase in temperature, the rate of infectious diseases goes up. This article was very believable and does make a lot of sense. With global warming and an increase in temperature, more mosquitoes are able to carry malaria and infect more people. The second peer-reviewed journal that I read was also on the consortium library website, and it talks about an association between temperature and suicide. And this article explains that there is no direct link with global warming and suicide, but says that there is definitely a link between temperature and suicide. And since an increase in temperature is a result of global warming, they are proportionally related. The results are based on a very long record of deaths from suicide in Finland from 1751 to 2008, and a similarly long climate record of ambient temperatures. I don't think that the idea of suicide and temperature is very far-fetched. We can kind of relate to it living in Alaska. We have one of the highest suicide rates in the country, and we endure extreme temperatures. There's many, many different ways that we contribute as humans to global warming. The first one that I chose was just eating meat. The fact that food travels about 1,000 miles before we actually eat it is contributing to global warming from the transportation. And cows emit methane, so every single time that you're eating an egg or drinking milk or eating meat, we're contributing. Clearing forests also contributes to global warming because plants need CO2 to grow, and if we're cutting down all these trees, there's less trees to absorb the CO2, making it so there's more CO2 in the air. And the third way is electricity. Every single time that you turn on the lights in your house or turn the TV on, you're contributing to global warming through electricity. Since most houses in America are powered by coal-burning power plants. There is a really long list of alternatives that we could turn to for other forms of energy. Solar power is the first one that I chose, and a 1.5 kilowatt PV system can keep 110,000 pounds of CO2 out of the atmosphere, and it can also prevent the need to burn 60,000 pounds of coal. In an article that I was reading, they mentioned that it only takes 8 minutes for the sun's energy to travel to Earth, and that's 93,000 miles. So those photons are moving extremely quickly to get from the sun to the Earth in that amount of time. So the speed of the photon can be converted into energy. The second one that I chose was wind power, and wind power basically converts the kinetic energy of wind into mechanical power. So you can think of it as opposite of a fan. Rather than using electricity to make wind, they're using wind to make electricity. There are downfalls to both of these, as there is with everything. Both are intermittent, which means that we don't always have wind and it's not always sunny. So we're not having a constant flow of energy. They both also require a lot of space, as you can see in the picture. They're big things. So we have to have fields and clear out a lot of area for these to be possible. And both also can have low energy densities, meaning that it's not a lot of energy at one time. So it takes a long time to get enough energy to actually do something. The third alternative energy system that I chose was biomass energy, which basically is organic matter that has stored energy through photosynthesis, like plants. And so the burning of plants, we're releasing that energy that's already stored, or by eating the plant. We get energy through the stored energy in the plant. The cons are that you have to burn trees, which is combustion, and that emits CO2, so you're also contributing to global warming through biomass energy, just at lower levels. And these are the references that I used, and thank you for watching my project.